Good morning. It is Monday morning. It is 11:59 on Monday, September 9th, and I'm coming to you live from almost downtown Marlborough. Um, I'm just outside of the center of town. Um, it is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful morning. This weekend has been stunning. It was just like it was cool. It was breezy. I know I've said before and I say over and over and over again, fall is my favorite season. And I love that I'm wearing a sweatshirt right now. I love that it's almost hoodie season. I love that there's a crispness to the air, and I love that my tree outside of my house. I have trees all over my street, but there's one tree directly in front of my house, and it always is the first to turn, and it always turns this like resplendent red. Um, it's a maple tree, obviously. So it gets this like beautiful red leaves, and it's usually one of the first ones to turn. It's almost like it just really is just like, look at me, aren't I gorgeous? And it is. I love that the spectacular colors of fall give us permission to let go. I mean, fall is all about letting go. It's all about the changing of the seasons. It's all about like the letting go of summer, getting into the dark time of the year. So there is a transition period that always happens. And in the fall, the trees and the earth puts on a show that tells us not only is it okay to let go and surrender, it's just part of life. And when we do so without resistance, it can be magnificent, actually. My newsletter that went out on Friday talked about perspectives. Talked about when you change the way you, Wayne Dyer said, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And, you know, what what I talked about in my newsletter was there's some actual physics, like science, that will back this up. There's a phenomena called not observer bias. I forget what it's actually called. Um, Observer bias is comes close, yeah, where certain the act of trying to measure particles or waves changes what they are, and that's so like it's the act of looking at something that creates it as a different thing. There's some really cool science to that, quantum physics, and really cool experience that basically tells us our we create and shape our reality. Reality doesn't, I don't want to say it doesn't exist, but the matter that we think of, the things that we think of as matter, as solid, as objects or people or places or even things or any, it doesn't it doesn't it's not external to us. It comes from within us. Lily and I have this conversation all the time because she's perfectly convinced that what I see as, let's say, red and what she sees as red are, she thinks, totally different colors, but we both have identified it as red, even though she knows that she sees it differently. She's known this, like this kid, man, this kid was born connected, and I'm grateful that she still has some of it in her. Um, but so she we have this debate all the time about like what I see. She said, "Well, how do you know that what you see isn't purple?" But we've both called it red, and that's okay because we both call it red. And she's right. Again, there's science that backs this up. Um, so my newsletter this week was all about perspectives. Was all about changing the way we look at, because our thoughts do actually create our reality. Our words create our reality as well. And when our energy will flow where attention goes. So we we get to actually create the world we live in, the world we want to live in. Especially right now, because we're in the transition time. We're in the transition time of Capricorn is retrograde, right? No, Pluto is retrograde in Capricorn right now until November. But then after that, we're starting a new age, a literal new age. It's the Aquarian age, which is, philosophical and connection and forward thinking and humanitarian. We actually get to decide the world we want to live in, especially right now, where we're being asked to look at what has been over the past, it's a 16-year pattern for this one from Capricorn. So who were we? What were we? I talked about this last week, but like, what, who are we going forward? And what perspective do we want to live in going forward? I always, one of my favorite quotes is Einstein, who I guess they say Einstein said it. Whether or not he did, um, the single biggest decision we face every single day is whether we believe we live in a friendly universe or a hostile one. And if you think about that, he, again, from a physics standpoint, if we look at the way we look at things changes the way things are. If we live in a friendly universe, then we are actually creating that friendly universe. If we live in a friendly universe, then nothing has ever happened to us. It has only ever happened for us, expressly so that we can grow from it. And again, if we think of it at the most basic level, if at the most basic level, something can go from a solid particle, a point, a moment in time, a particle is a moment in time, to a waveform, which is infinite possibilities. So at any given moment, if we take a snapshot of that wave, it becomes a particle. But yet when we're not observing it, it is a wave. So think about like, if that's true at the teeny tiniest, most basic subatomic particle, subatomic element level, and it is, that science has proved this over and over and over again. If it's true at that subatomic level, then it's true at the giant cosmic level. So the things that we see as solid are simply snapshots in time. I believe that one of the, I don't want to say benefits, one of the, like, the whole point of consciousness and spiritual work is so that we can be more wave than particle, be more in the flow of things than stuck in a particular moment in time. So a lot of the work I do, and I've been doing this work for years, a lot of the work I do with like the regression healing, and I've actually even now started doing like a future healing. So going forward in time, creating the wave, the infinite possibility wave, and bringing it backwards to us. Same thing, going backwards in time to heal the places where our energy got stuck and trapped in those moments in time, in those particles, bringing it all forward to this moment, and then actually bringing it forward to, our future selves or our highest selves, or the highest aligned timeline, and bringing that energy to us in this moment. Now we can stand at the threshold of the past and the future, which is the present, but it's the infinitely possible present, because our energy is all within us. Keep making us waves, not particles. And I think that the more we can do that, the more conscious we become. And the more conscious we become, the more connected we are, the more aligned, I don't know, with source. I think it's really, really, really important for us to spend time every day connecting with our wave, selves. It's very easy. It's very easy to get stuck in particle to day through the world. I got to do this. I got to pay these bills. I got to go here. I got to go to work. I got to blah. Right. I feel like it's really easy to get caught up in those things. It's also very easy to either be pulled into the past regrets, fear, sadness, pain, trauma, and it's even easier sometimes to get pulled into anxiety and worry and fear about what's to come. I think both of those places make us leave ourselves as particles, and it doesn't actually allow us consciousness. It doesn't allow us miracles. It doesn't allow us to be part of the source. It doesn't allow us to be the conscious beings that we are. So when we teach consciousness, when we study, when we practice, I always talk about practice, not because it's we're seeking to improve, but simply because it's a daily exercise. Like my way of being is to be as present as possible, as often as possible, to live surrendered and open and trusting as often as possible. Now, I'm not always successful, but I have a deep trust and faith in divine, in the divine as a consciousness of cosmic proportion, but also in the divine in me. I know with unshakable certainty, actually, I'm a small part of a great big cosmic oneness. And I actually know that we all are. I know this. I mean, I know this like I know my name. I don't remember a time when I didn't know this. I just there's such a part of me that believes, that knows, that trusts, that understands. If everybody or most people could tap this, we would heal. We there wouldn't be an us and there wouldn't be a them. There wouldn't be fighting. There wouldn't be division. There wouldn't be bombs and war and shootings. There was another. I don't want to say another. There was a shooting that happened last week in Georgia, and every single time these events hurt my heart. And they hurt my heart because it's not guns, it's not violence, it's not the senselessness. All of that is actually true. But the deeper part of it that hurts my heart is what happens to one of us happens to all of us. There is no separation. When we're waves, there's no separation. So when these events happen, I do my best to pull everybody into my heart, to try and to do my best to love them. To I do a lot of ho'oponopono and a lot of, okay, please help me clear this out of the world. Please help us remember that we are human and divine, and we don't it's not an other, there's not a them, there's not a they did this, he did this. It's not a blame thing. And it's not a society has failed thing either. And it's not, I guess gun. I mean, there's no reason for us to have it. There's no reason for those guns to exist. Forget about a 14-year-old could get one. But aside from that, as divine beings, when I sit with the Council of Light and give me guidance and messages and teachings. It is, or when I sit with my soul self, or when I sit with God, my the universe, whatever. There's only love. It's the only vibration that exists. And the messages that come from the Council of Light, and the messages that my soul gives me are only love. And it, judgment, it's not a lack of judgment. It's that judgment doesn't exist. And gratitude. There's always gratitude. The Council of Light, my soul, God, is always grateful that I'm doing work, that I'm out here teaching and sharing and surrendering and being present and doing my best to live a surrendered spiritual life and be a beacon in the darkness. As a healness being, as a spiritual seeker, they're always grateful and loving and supportive and so gentle, but fierce at the same time. So when we see things in the world that hurt my heart like this, the contrast is so stark that I just feel like if more people could experience that incredible connection, the internal, unshakable core connection of our own divinity, it would never occur to them to hurt another. They're not capable of it. And so to see it happen shows me just how far disconnected we are. And yet I know with this, like I said, I know with a certainty, like I know my name, we can do things differently. And this is how we heal, is every single one of us coming into relationship with ourselves, coming into adoration and communion with ourselves, with our divine selves, the part of us that is the God spark. And by doing so, we not only we don't take the darkness out of the world, because without darkness we don't have light, but we take the pain out. We take the separation out. We take the fear out. The parts of us that keep us separate. So I'm asking you today, what perspective are you coming from? Do you want to live in a friendly universe, or do you want to live in a hostile one? And if you choose to live in a friendly universe, what do you personally today need to say yes to? And what do you need to say no to, so that you can actually let go of the places in you that are separate? Just for today. Maybe let's choose a friendly universe just for today and see what kind of perspective that gives you on your day. I hope you have a beautiful Monday. I am going to be live in Westboro on Wednesday. I'm doing uh, a guided meditation at Circles of Joy, so please join us for that. Tickets are on the Circles of Joy website. I'll post the I think it's Circles of J is the website, but I'll post the link. And I have on October 3rd, I have a free chakras masterclass. And this is not your mother's chakra class. I know everybody knows chakras and I understand that, but the way we teach chakras is we teach them as gateways to consciousness. So we actually teach them as gateways home to ourselves, but home to ourselves as divine. So each chakra, yes, it's an energy center, yes, it's a, we know what it is and what it comes, but like it's actually a gateway into your blueprint, your consciousness blueprint. And that's what the Chakras 101 class is. So stay tuned for that. And we are putting together a sort of a longer version of the 8-week course that we're doing now. On we're doing a divine feminine manifesting co-creation. This is an 8-week course. I think we're going to do it for a little bit longer, so stay tuned for that. That'll start late October. It is still in the development stages. And then I think we're also simultaneously creating uh what do we call it, it's a consciousness, chakras consciousness course, but it has its aspects of also co-creation. So stay tuned for all of that. It's coming in the fall, and I hope you have a beautiful day. Mwah!